book that's just kind of illustrating the use of some simple quizzes to add some interactivity to the notebook for the students to be interacting with at their own pace. In this notebook, the students are getting a broad survey of the pieces of Python. And so they're learning about declaring variables, creating literals, what's the difference between a variable and a literal, and they're learning how to write functions. And so here's, or at least call functions at this point. So here I have a function called literal variables, and there's two arguments to it that are both these strings, replace me 1 and replace me 2. And the exercise here is that they're supposed to take replace me 1 and replace that with a string literal containing the number 327 represented in base 10 digits. So I can take that and I run this, and there's some feedback. So it says arg1 is a string, arg1 contains the correct value. If I had done something like 327, they would have gotten the feedback, yes, that is a string, but it's not the value that we are looking for. And then looking to argument 2, they're supposed to replace the string with argument 2 with an integer literal. And it's telling them, no, arg2 is not a number type. So I could change this to, let's see if I change it to 327 and run this. So now, and I'll change this to 327. Oops. So my arg1 is passing all the tests. arg2 is correctly a number, but it's not the type of number that I'm expecting. So it's a floating point number, not an integer. Here, I'm changing it to a number. It's an integer, and even though it's not the right value, I should add a test for that. But it's testing the type and providing some feedback to the user about what they might have done wrong. So here's another quiz where we're talking about defining functions. And one of the common things that the students do when they're first starting to write functions is they forget to explicitly return the value that they've computed within the function. And so Python will by default return a none. So here I'm asking them to write a function that will get a random integer between 20 and 50. And as it is instituted right now, the function does nothing. And so this will return a none. And so if I run this, they get the message, your function is not correct. And then I'm giving them some hints. Did you forget to set a value for y or explicitly return a value? So if I have something like y equals random.rand int 20 to 50, I forgot to return y, so I'm getting the same value, so I could return y here. And then what I'm doing, because this is a random number, if I look at my quiz that's sitting underneath it, I'm doing hundreds or thousands of runs and seeing if the resulting values all fall within the range that I'm expecting. So if I provided the incorrect range, I get back that your function is returning an integer, but I'm suspicious that your range is not correct, and that's because I'm getting values that are outside of I'm not getting the full range of values, or that I returned an integer that was 59 that is not within the specified range. So I'm writing these quizzes to give them feedback to some of the common problems I've seen students over the years make with these kind of these kind of exercises. So I'm kind of anticipating those errors and trying to give them useful feedback that they can get at their own pace instead of waiting for me or a teaching assistant to come look at what they've been doing wrong.